My answer would be different than unlike Chris, Sean, and Rob. I am not a highly paid media executive with a corner office. I'm a reporter, and as a result, my answer would be different. For me, it is social media and what it has done. Social media to me is the biggest force, probably media-wise, in my life. I'm sure for a lot of people who, I'm 53, for a lot of you who are my age or younger, you would probably say the same thing. It used to be if you were working on a big story, you waited until the 6 o'clock news or your radio newscast or your TV newscast or your newspaper when it was filed the next day. Now you're against other people and you're trying to get it out on social like that. And, I think the speeds, I know in my case, I hate to admit it, but it's been true. I'm better at it than I used to be, but the speed can lead to carelessness. It can force you to make decisions quicker than you want. I'm better at controlling that than I used to be, but it's still an issue. And I think the other thing too is, I don't like to use the term mob, but I'm going to do it in this particular case so that people understand what I'm talking about. Social media is like a crazy mob, and nobody controls it. You don't know what's going to be a thing and what isn't. Like, there are times I've put something out or I've said something on my podcast and I said, this is going to be a huge story, and no one cares. And then there's other times I say something or I put something out and I'm like, no one's going to care about this, and kaboom, it becomes a huge story. It's such a wave, and you don't know where it's going to go. You don't control it. It controls you. And like, I have a rule, I don't get in fights on social media, but there's a lot of things you have to ride out and control yourself in dealing with that. I don't think I ever would have thought that this was going to be the case 30 years ago. So to me, the growth of social media is by far the biggest thing that's happened.
And it's really changed the relationship. Traditionally the relationship was kind of one way. We would put the show out and you'll watch it. Now we got very little feedback immediate. We get ratings eventually. Now the feedback is immediate. Elliotte will say something on the air, and within 5 seconds, he's getting DMs and people are sending notes to him, and it's going all across, and it just spreads. Yeah, exactly.
Berkey's the one sending all the angry notes with his army of bots.
Yeah. Berkey, by the way, is the best on social media. But it's really changed what we do, because we would, and I hate to say this, and it might sound a little bit arrogant, but we thought we knew what was best. Now, some of the stuff we put out there, we get feedback right away that it's not. And the challenging part is, the feedback we're getting might not be from the majority. It might just be from a vocal minority, but it's really, really difficult to ignore it. And it does alter what you do, and it does sometimes alter what you do midstream, mid-show, right?
It's true.
And so that's really put a more of an immediacy. I know that's a little bit later, but it's really kind of changed how we put our shows together and how we react to shows. Because in the past, this is the lineup, this is the show, let's go. Now it's, okay, here's what we think, and things could pivot just because of some of the responses we get and some of the immediate feedback that didn't exist before.